Welcome back to Clayforge, making teeny tiny figures. As I promised on my Instagram account, I'm going to make another dwarf. As last I showed a picture of a dwarf there, this tiny little fella. And today I'm going to make another little dwarf with a red beard. As you can see, I prepared the colors already. We have a few different kinds of colors. One for the skin tone, a bit of brown, very dark brown and a bit brighter brown for shoes, pants and boots and belts. This orange, it's a bit even red for the beard, then a bit of metal because dwarves are all about metal, iron and mining, and then little bit of something. It looks like a bit of skin color, but it's actually some kind of beige Sahara Desert color sand, and I'm going to use it for a bit of fur detail. For this figure, I will start with the body. As you can see on this tiny plan I drew, how the figure should look like or could look like. I'm trying to make a dwarf warrior with a shield, and this is supposed to be the body. And first I'm going to make the breastplate, or to say the upper body, as I don't make an upper body and then put a breastplate on, but just in one piece. For the breastplate, I will going to take this kind of metal silver color. I mixed it with a lot of black, so it's a bit darker, and you just have to smooth it a bit, make it a bit like a square. As you can see, it now has a few edges, so it looks like a bit of a breastplate. As shown on the plan, on the tiny little picture, it's a bit of a triangular shape, so it will go thinner towards the bottom, and this is already enough. And now you can already cut the bottom off. And now I'm going to make a few details, and then the breastplate is already done. As you can see, the breastplate is done. Just a bit of detail, marking out where the breast area of the dwarf is going to be. And then I'm going to make another part that definitely will use a bit of metallic color, the shoulder pads. And for that, I'm just going to use this bowl stylist. Push the clay on top of it, and then you already have something you could put on a shoulder to like hide a bit of gaps between the arm and the body. And yeah, that's already done. You can of course make a few details with a few dots, like notches, other things to connect to, a bit of stripes, detail, metal work, whatever you want. Another piece of armor we're going to need is, you could call it like a bit of overhang of the breast armor. It's going to wrap around the body, and then of course the arms. This is a bit brighter, as you can see. I'm still mixed with black, but in comparison to the color from the package, it's still way darker, as this bright color wouldn't match that well with the dwarfs. And out of that, you're going to roll a worm and make two arms, and out of that, roll a worm, smooth it to an area, and then you can cut out the overhang you want to make. As you can see, the arms are done. They seem a bit small, but remember, they also will be having hands, so they will be a bit longer and larger than the shoulder pads. And the overhang I will wrap around the body. Now to the face. As you can see, I already prepared the head. Just a ball of skin colored clay and the beard around. I already made the eyebrows, but I will add them later after adding the helmet. And I already gave the arms their hands. Now I'm going to make the trousers. I'm going to roll this out to a worm. Then I'm going to cut on both ends, and then I'm going to cut a triangular shape into it, so we'll have my legs. And you can stick it onto here and maybe smooth out the edges a bit. It's going to be the next step, so the shorts won't be so unnatural looking. And then going to be working on the helmet. I had to make the trousers again because they were a bit too big, and a dwarf is small, so him being as tall as a giant wouldn't make sense. Now we can already wrap around the overhang, piece of armor and it fits perfectly. If it doesn't fit perfectly, you have to squeeze a bit around. If it's too long, you can stretch it a bit as clay is soft. If it's a bit too long, you can always push it a bit together and it will probably fit again then. So the head will come at nearly last, and now we're going to make the shield. The shield, as I drew it on a tiny paper, he's going to hold in his right hand, the left hand will be a weapon, and his shield doesn't have to be special or anything, it's just supposed to be a shield with a bit of detail on it, and this detail can be very easily made with just pushing your knife. This is a knife, this is the sharp edge and this is the blunt edge. Pushing the blunt edge into the clay and you already have a kind of mixture in it. I will try to think a way of what would I like as a shield. Maybe make it even a bit bigger, as dwarves are small. They are like hiding behind their defenses and smashing forward with their hammer. So I will see what I come to. So now, as you can see, I already made a belt buckle for the belt. I will have to add the belt later. The shield is ready. It's nothing fancy, just a bit of gold detail on it. Then I made the cap for the head. At the moment it looks a bit silly, but later it will look like a real helmet. Also two other parts for the helmet. A thing to go around the helmet, and thing to protect his nose, what you would see on medieval armor, medieval helmets, to protect your nose and your face. Now, as your dwarf also needs a weapon, what do dwarves need and use? They love axes. This is just the axe head. I will later, probably with this color of clay, make the axe handle, and then our dwarf is already done. Now, as you can see, the helmet is nearly done. Only one thing left to do for the helmet are the wings or horns. This figure is a bit of a remake of another figure I already made some time ago, and he also had these kind of winged horns. So I'm going to make them again so they fit together. The axe is already complete, and I also made the belt. They're made from the same color, but I don't think it's too complicated. Now onto the wings, and if you have noticed, the last thing missing, the feet, or better to say, the boots. Can't have a warrior without boots. Sorry. As you can see, the dwarf is finished. There's little horns, and then if we attach everything together, of course it needs to be baked, or otherwise it would just fall apart and melt into the oven. The eggs would bend over and everything, so I'm going to add that later with glue. But this figure is done. I hope you liked the video. I even left the video under 10 minutes. I think that's a record for now. Yeah. Leave a comment, leave a like if you want. There's still a challenge. The first one to leave a comment on one of my YouTube videos or Instagram stories or photos will get to choose the next figure for the next YouTube video. Although I already have an idea for the next video on YouTube, there's still a challenge on. And have a good day. Goodbye.